Hello everyone, welcome back. This is video number 5 from the Revit course or Revit tutorial. In the last video I finished explaining the view specific properties down here. In this video I'll be explaining what elevations are and pretty much everything about them. Now when you first open a project template, the first you will see by default 4 dots kind of. So these 4 things, these are called elevations. And by default you have 4. Obviously different templates, so like if you open a construction template or a structural template, you will have a different shape, so it might not be round, it might be a square, but it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't make any difference, it still have the same use and the same name, so it's still an elevation. Now an elevation basically helps you see a project from a specific perspective. So obviously you have directions, they're named after directions. So this is the north elevation because it's in the north. So it's like you are standing here and you're viewing your building from this point of view. So like the cursor moves basically, so it's like your eyes are looking towards the building from the north. And if you're sitting on the west one, it's like you're viewing the project from the west, etc. This is basically what elevations are. Obviously if you want to add elevations, you can go to the view tab in here. So you click on the view tab, you see this elevations. You can just click on the command elevation, but unfortunately it doesn't have any shortcut on the keyboard, and just add an elevation. If you go here, on the drop down arrow you will see 2 different elevations, framing elevation and elevation. Now the difference between a framing elevation and an elevation is that the framing elevation shows bracings. So as you can see, Revit is now demonstrating it, and it shows bracing or other stuff like maybe columns, maybe some, I don't know, that cannot be seen in a normal elevation. And this is because each elevation has its own view range. Now I clicked on the elevation command, I can add elevations as much as I want, and obviously right now they're in the wrong direction, but that's not a problem. I'm just gonna, and see they are named by default now on Revit, but I'm just gonna go ahead and just Ctrl Z to take everything back to normal. I was just demonstrating that you can add elevations. Now in the project browser, if you go here, you can see the 4 elevations you have in your project: east, north, south and west. And you can open them actually by 2 ways. You can either go to the project browser, double click on the elevation you want. Let's say I want to open east, and I double click in here, and as you can see I'm now in the east point of view, I'm gonna say. And if we go back to level 1, you can also open an elevation by clicking on the head. The head is this pointy part of the elevation, so if you hover into it and then double click on the head, it opens elevation. In this case I opened the south elevation. Now inside an elevation you see these lines with their heads. These are called levels, and these are basically to show where your building, like how high your building is. By default you have 2 levels. You have level 1, which is at 0, and level 2, which is at 4 meters. The units is actually millimeters in the project, so 4,000 millimeters. For now I'm gonna work with millimeters, but I'm gonna show you how to change the units in a later video. Now as you can see, the walls go beyond level 2, and this is because if you go ahead and select the walls, and go into the properties palette, you can see that there isn't any top constraint. So the base constraint is to level 1, so they start from 0, but there isn't any top constraint, so there isn't a specific place where they end. And if you click here, you can end them at level 2. You cannot end them at level 1. This is because the walls will have no height, and then there is no point. If you click here and then click apply, go back to an elevation, as you can see now all the walls are up to level 2 and they do not go above it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. If you can add as much levels as you want. So if you go into architecture tab, and actually in the structure tab as well, where it says the datum section, you can click here and you will see these draw options. Now I'll be explaining these later. Now I'll be explaining the difference between these two later, but for now I'm just going to show you how to draw a level. So you can choose how far you want it above a specific level. In this case it's 3,400 millimeters above level 1, actually above level 2. So if you go ahead and click that and then just drag and then stop here, you can see that it's actually 3,500 millimeters above level 2, just like it was saying in here. You can, if you click on a level, you can then drag the levels all together. In this case I've constrained the levels together so they all move together. I can unconstrain it by unlocking this. So if I went ahead and just changed the size, as you can see these doesn't change because I've unconstrained them. And the same in here, you can also decrease the size. You can put heads on two sides, so you see how there's a head in here. You can also click on this box and then check that, and you will see that there is another head on the other side. You can uncheck that whenever you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this level. Okay, that's fine. What Revit was saying is that basically everything constrained to that might be deleted, but I haven't constrained anything, so that's not a problem. Now this one is called a line tool, so you basically just draw a line. You can draw it as far as you want, anywhere, etc. I just demonstrated that, but if I was to choose the other tool, which is pick lines, right now you can't see anything, but if I set an offset, let's say I want an offset of 3,000 millimeters and then click enter, you can see now that I can place levels 3,000 millimeters above or below. That changes to where you put your mouse. So if you put your mouse to the bottom, it goes below. If you put your mouse to the top, it goes above. And then if you click that, it's automatically constrained, and it's called level 4. Obviously you can also change the level. You can change how high they are by clicking on the level, and then let's say I want that to be 5,000 rather than 4,000, and I can just type 5,000 in here. And as you can see, because the walls are constrained to it, they also increase in height. And you can change the names. Let's say I want this to be first floor. I can go ahead and type first floor. Sorry about that. Yeah, and this is how you can change. And if you go back to here and the floor plans, you will see that this changed to first floor, and it has been added. Actually, you can open it, but you will not see anything because there isn't anything that reaches that level. You can open it by double clicking on it, basically. Let's just go back to any elevation. You can also add dimensions if you wanted to see the difference between elevations. You can, if you click on this zigzag line which says add elbow, if you click that, you can add elbows, and then if you click on the point in here, you can move them like this. If you want to, like, if you didn't have enough space and you wanted to like design the levels in a different way, you can use that, or you can just take it back to normal by just making it straight again like this, so there is no more elbow anymore, or by actually clicking Ctrl Z. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, Hope it was helpful. See you again in a later video.